Having established consciousness as fundamental and explored the predictive nature of knowledge, we face a deeper question. Is understanding itself possible if we permit supernatural explanations? If we allow supernatural interventions, miracles that defy patterns, forces that follow no comprehensible rules, we abandon any hope of genuine understanding. Consider what happens when we invoke the supernatural to explain phenomena. If a light appears in the sky, we could attribute it to angels or to atmospheric physics. The supernatural explanation through angels might seem to provide an answer, but it offers no real understanding. We cannot predict when angels will appear next, understand the conditions that summon them, or explain why they create light in one way rather than another. The physics explanation lets us understand the conditions that create the light, predict when it will occur again, and even reproduce similar effects. This reveals why we must adopt naturalism, because only natural explanations, those following comprehensible patterns and principles, allow us to build reliable knowledge we can make use of and build upon. The moment we allow miraculous interventions that follow no pattern, we lose our ability to understand, predict, or meaningfully investigate reality. Before proceeding, we must carefully distinguish naturalism from materialism, as these are often incorrectly conflated. Materialism asserts that all phenomena, including consciousness, must be explained through physical matter and its interactions. This is a metaphysical claim about the fundamental nature of reality. Naturalism, in contrast, makes a more modest methodological commitment that we should seek to understand phenomena through natural causes and explanations without invoking miracles or forces beyond the scope of rational investigation. This distinction is crucial. While materialism insists consciousness must emerge from matter, naturalism simply requires that our explanations of consciousness operate within comprehensible, consistent principles. Naturalism demands only that phenomena be explicable through patterns we can study and understand. By adopting naturalism while rejecting materialism, we open a path to investigate consciousness as fundamental while maintaining scientific rigor. But what concrete foundation can we build upon to replace matter while maintaining methodological rigor? What aspect of reality can we quantify, predict, and study with the same precision? The missing piece of the puzzle is information. Consider a simple thought experiment. Imagine writing a message on paper, then speaking it aloud, then encoding it digitally. Though the physical form changes dramatically each time, the core message remains unchanged. This reveals something profound. Information exists independent of its physical container, pointing to its fundamentally immaterial nature. The immaterial nature of information provides a foothold for understanding consciousness in a way that aligns with idealist philosophy while remaining grounded in scientific inquiry. After all, every mental process, from mathematical calculations to logical reasoning to moments of understanding, involves the processing of information at its core. Even the fundamental laws of physics themselves can be understood as information patterns governing the cosmos. This understanding leads us naturally to the simulation hypothesis, not as a probability argument about computer simulations, but as a practical framework we can use to model informational reality. The traditional simulation argument suggests that given technological advancement, civilizations would likely create numerous simulated realities, making it statistically probable that we exist within one. However, this probabilistic approach fundamentally fails when considered within the context of absolute infinity. In an infinite reality, there exist infinite simulated universes and infinite non-simulated universes. We cannot meaningfully compare infinities to determine where we're more likely to exist. Instead, the simulation hypothesis offers profound value as a framework for understanding how a consciousness-based, informational reality might operate under naturalistic principles, moving us beyond materialism. If we maintain our naturalistic foundation, avoiding appeals to supernatural powers or infinite resources, certain fundamental constraints on any potential simulators become clear. Like us, they would operate with finite capabilities. Under such resource constraints, efficient simulation becomes not just desirable, but necessary. This insight provides us with a powerful tool in our journey for understanding reality. If efficiency shapes the fundamental laws of nature, we can use this principle to better explain and predict how our universe operates. This leads us to a crucial distinction at the most fundamental level of simulation, the distinction between synthetic and authentic simulations. Authentic simulations, reflecting the naturalistic constraints of an informational reality, must maintain essential boundaries to ensure their realism. These boundaries are crucial and fall into two categories: epistemic boundaries, restricting what simulators can predict about the unfolding simulation, and control boundaries, which prevent simulators from intervening or manipulating the simulation. Synthetic simulations, in stark contrast, would violate these essential boundaries. They would be more akin to elaborate video games, systems where all outcomes are ultimately fully predictable or controllable from outside. While they might appear superficially complex, they would lack the genuine emergence, unpredictability, and creative potential that characterizes authentic simulations. This leads us to a key characteristic of authentic simulations: genuine novelty. An authentic simulation possesses the profound capacity to generate novel patterns and structures, potentially ranging from galaxies and life to other forms of complex structures we ourselves are not aware of. After all, why would simulators expend resources on systems that yield no novel insights, merely producing what appears as random noise? A simulation generating such incomprehensible output would be fundamentally wasteful. Indeed, the very reason for simulators to invest resources in creating authentic simulations lies in the profound potential for discovery and inspiration that genuine novelty unlocks. Consider a subtle yet powerful dynamic. When simulators observe authentic simulations, they can be influenced, however subtly, by what they observe. Just as we can be transformed by experiencing a powerful work of art, witnessing a deeply moving event, or encountering a truly novel idea, so too the simulators have the potential to be affected by the unfolding dynamics of authentic simulations. This influence flows naturally and subtly through the very act of observation itself, requiring no violation of control boundaries. The beauty of this mechanism lies precisely in its meticulous preservation of authenticity. Just as a viewer cannot reach into a film to directly alter its plot, yet can be deeply transformed by the experience of watching it, so too the simulators cannot directly manipulate their authentic simulations, yet can be influenced and potentially transformed through the very act of observation. This transformative potential becomes particularly evident when we consider the content of authentic simulations. When a simulated civilization makes a profound philosophical breakthrough, discovers a fundamental truth about consciousness, or creates a truly transformative work of art, this new understanding does not simply remain contained within that simulation. The observing simulators, encountering this novel perspective, may find their own understanding of consciousness, knowledge, or reality transformed. This transformative power of observation gains even greater significance when we consider the possibility of nested simulations. Imagine a hierarchy of simulated realities, where the simulators themselves might exist within a larger simulation, creating layers of nested existence, simulations within simulations. This hierarchical structure of nested simulations, with authentic simulation at each level, reveals a profound effect that transcends traditional notions of causality. While control boundaries prevent direct intervention from higher levels, information and influence can still flow naturally upward through the very act of observation itself. This creates what we can call a cross-reality butterfly effect, a cascade of influence that subtly propagates through multiple levels of authentic simulations, each simulation affecting the simulation on the level up, while meticulously preserving the essential control boundaries that define each level's authenticity. This mechanism of influence operates like a one-way membrane, allowing information and subtle impact to flow upward through observation, while preventing direct, control-violating intervention from flowing downward. This membrane emerges naturally between realities, out of the boundaries that all authentic simulations must follow. Consider the parallel with how scientific discoveries and cultural innovations propagate through our own perceived reality. When a new scientific understanding emerges in one field, it does not merely affect that isolated domain, but inevitably ripples outward, influencing seemingly unrelated fields, transforming our overall worldview and reshaping how we approach a vast array of other questions. Through this lens, novel insights, emergent patterns, and truly original creations become more than just local phenomena. They are potential contributions to a vast, interconnected network of influence, possessing the capacity to trigger cascading changes across multiple levels of reality. If we do live in an authentic simulation, this understanding imbues our creative impulses with profound significance. Our human drive to generate new patterns, structures, ideas, and expressions may be a local manifestation of the simulation's inherent tendency towards increasing complexity and genuine novelty. In this illuminating light, our deeply ingrained creative impulses are not merely accidental features of human psychology, but an echo of the universe's core characteristic. When we create art, develop new ideas, and discover novel patterns, we are not simply engaging in optional human activities. Rather, we are actively participating in what could be the very core purpose of our universe, the ongoing generation of genuine novelty, meaningful complexity, and the ever-expanding horizon of understanding within this vast informational reality.